At my wedding rehearsal, my father looked me in the eyes and said, "I can't walk you down the aisle if it makes your sister uncomfortable in front of everyone." What he didn't know was that I'd just received news that would change everything about our family dynamic forever. The words hit me like a physical blow, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. The entire wedding party stood frozen in the church sanctuary, watching the father-daughter moment I'd dreamed of since childhood crumble in front of everyone. David's parents exchanged uncomfortable glances. My bridesmaids looked mortified. Even the priest cleared his throat awkwardly as the silence stretched on. My immediate reaction wasn't tears or pleading like everyone expected. Instead, something cold and analytical clicked into place in my mind. This wasn't just another family drama moment. This was the culmination of 28 years of Jessica's manipulative behavior and my parents' enabling, and it had reached a breaking point at the worst possible time. But what they didn't realize was that I had information and resources they knew nothing about, and their timing couldn't have been more catastrophically poor for them. I stood there processing the strategic implications while Jessica smirked behind Dad's shoulder, clearly pleased with her victory. She had no idea that 12 hours earlier, I'd received the phone call that would make their petty family politics completely irrelevant. My entire professional life was about to change in ways that would reshape every power dynamic in our family, and they'd chosen this moment to show me exactly who they really were. The smart move was to let them think they'd won while I regrouped and planned my response. I smiled tightly and said, "I understand, Dad. Family comes first." Jessica's triumphant expression told me everything I needed to know about who had orchestrated this humiliation. What she didn't understand was that she'd just handed me the perfect opportunity to reveal truths that would destroy her narrative forever. I'm Hannah, and I work as a pediatric nurse at Children's Hospital, where I'd spent the last 5 years building a reputation for innovative patient care approaches. My specialty was developing comprehensive treatment protocols for chronically ill children, and I'd been quietly revolutionizing how our department handled complex cases. What my family saw as my nice little nursing job was actually a highly specialized career that had caught national attention in healthcare circles. My educational background included a master's in nursing with dual specializations in pediatric care and healthcare administration. I'd graduated summa cum laude while working 2 jobs to avoid student debt, something my family had never bothered to acknowledge. My thesis on integrated family support systems for pediatric oncology patients had been published in 3 medical journals and was being implemented at hospitals across the country. Financially, I was far more secure than anyone in my family realized. My salary as a senior pediatric nurse was $85,000 annually, but I'd been living like I made half that while investing aggressively in index funds and real estate. I owned my condo outright, had $127,000 in savings, and a retirement portfolio worth $180,000. While Jessica struggled with credit card debt and my parents worried about their mortgage, I had been building wealth systematically for years. My professional network extended far beyond what a small-town family could understand. Through nursing conferences and medical research collaborations, I had connections with department heads at major hospitals, healthcare policy researchers, and medical innovators across the nation. These weren't just casual professional acquaintances. These were relationships built on mutual respect and shared expertise in pushing pediatric care forward. The news I'd received wasn't just about a job change. Children's Hospital had been selected as one of 5 pilot sites for a revolutionary pediatric care program funded by a $50 million federal grant. The program would integrate cutting-edge medical technology with comprehensive family support systems, and they'd chosen me to lead the implementation. The position came with a salary increase to $140,000, a $25,000 signing bonus, and national recognition as one of the country's top pediatric care innovators. But the real strategic advantage was the timing. The official announcement would be published in Medical Journal Weekly in 2 days, followed by coverage in our local newspaper highlighting the prestige this brought to our regional hospital. My face would be on the front page of the healthcare section as the youngest department head in the hospital's history, leading a program that would serve as a model for children's hospitals nationwide. I'd also been systematically documenting Jessica's manipulative behavior for years without realizing it. Every text message where she demanded I change my plans for her convenience, every family gathering where she made everything about her drama, every achievement of mine that got overshadowed by her manufactured crises. I had a clear pattern of behavior that showed exactly who was actually the problematic family member. My relationship with David's family provided additional strategic advantages. Colonel Rivera, David's father, was a retired military officer who understood chain of command, respect, and integrity. He'd witnessed Jessica's behavior firsthand at family dinners and had made subtle comments about how differently David and I handled conflict compared to my family's dramatic approach. His wife, Elena, was a retired school principal who had extensive experience dealing with manipulative behavior and dysfunctional family dynamics. The morning after the rehearsal disaster, I called my supervisor, Dr. Patricia Foster, to discuss the timing of the announcement. "Hannah, this promotion is going to put you in medical journals and healthcare conferences nationally. Are you prepared for that level of recognition?" she asked. I explained my family's situation and how the timing might actually work perfectly to clarify some misconceptions about my career and capabilities. Next, I contacted our hospital's public relations director, Michael Stevens, who managed all media coverage of our major programs. "The story about your promotion is already generating interest from healthcare publications, beyond what we initially expected," he explained. "Your innovative approach to pediatric family integration is being talked about as a potential game changer for the industry. We're looking at coverage in at least 6 medical journals and 3 mainstream health publications." I met with our hospital's legal counsel, Jennifer Blake, to understand the implications of my new position and any potential media attention. "With this level of professional recognition comes certain protections and opportunities," she explained. "If anyone attempts to disparage your character or professional reputation, especially family members who might be jealous of your success, you have legal recourse. We've seen cases where family members try to undermine someone's professional achievements through social media or community gossip." My financial advisor, Robert Davis, helped me understand how this promotion would affect my long-term financial picture. "With your new salary and the signing bonus, plus your existing investments, you're looking at a net worth approaching $400,000 by year end. That puts you in the top 15% of earners in your age bracket nationally. You have more financial security at 28 than most people achieve in their entire careers." The strategic planning process involved multiple phases. First, I would let my family continue believing they'd successfully humiliated me while documenting their behavior and allowing them to dig their hole deeper. Second, I would coordinate the timing of the announcement to maximum impact, ensuring that their treatment of me was fresh in everyone's memory when the news broke. Third, I would use their own words and actions against them by letting them publicly demonstrate their true character. I reached out to my cousin Lisa, who had always been the most reasonable family member, to gauge the extended family's reaction to what happened at rehearsal. "Hannah, I have to tell you, people are really uncomfortable with how Jessica acted and what your parents allowed," she said. "Aunt Patricia called my mom saying she was embarrassed to witness that, and Uncle James said he couldn't believe they'd humiliate you publicly like that. People are taking sides, and it's not going the way Jessica thinks." Through my church connections, I learned that several community members had heard about the rehearsal incident and were questioning my family's treatment of me. Mrs. Davidson, who coordinated the church's nursing ministry, said, "Hannah, I've watched you volunteer here for years, organizing medical care for our elderly members, and I've never seen anything but kindness and generosity from you. What happened at that rehearsal doesn't reflect who you are at all. I decided to let the wedding proceed with Colonel Rivera walking me down the aisle while keeping the news about my promotion quiet for 2 more days. This would allow Jessica and my parents to continue their narrative about poor Hannah, who needed to learn about family priorities, making their eventual humiliation even more complete. The wedding day arrived, and Jessica made sure to continue her performance. She told several guests that I was being dramatic about Dad not walking me down the aisle, and that sometimes family members need to make sacrifices for each other's emotional well-being. She positioned herself as the mature sister who was trying to protect the family from my selfishness. Colonel Rivera walked me down the aisle with genuine pride and dignity, treating the moment with the reverence my own father had failed to show. During his speech at the reception, he said, "I'm honored to welcome Hannah into our family. Her dedication to helping children and families through her nursing career shows the kind of person she truly is. We're proud to call her our daughter." Jessica couldn't resist making subtle comments throughout the reception about how some people handle disappointment better than others, and how important it was to put family harmony above personal preferences. Several guests looked uncomfortable with her commentary, but she seemed oblivious to their reactions. 2 days later, the announcement hit like a landslide. The Medical Journal weekly article featured a full-page profile titled, "Rising Stars in Pediatric Innovation: How Young Leaders Are Transforming Children's Healthcare." My photo appeared alongside 4 other nationally recognized pediatric specialists, with a detailed description of my program and its potential impact on childhood medical outcomes. Our local newspaper picked up the story immediately, running a front-page feature in the healthcare section. Local nurse selected to lead revolutionary children's medical program. The article detailed my educational background, my years of innovative work at the hospital, and the national significance of being chosen for this federal grant program. The hospital's social media accounts shared the news, generating hundreds of congratulatory comments from colleagues, former patients' families, and community members who had worked with me over the years. The post was shared 847 times within 24 hours, reaching thousands of people in our community. Jessica's social media, which usually focused on her lifestyle and fashion content, went completely silent for 3 days. When she finally posted, it was a generic inspirational quote about supporting family members through their success. The comment section filled with people congratulating her on her sister's achievement and asking why she hadn't mentioned such exciting family news. My parents called on the 3rd day after the announcement. Dad's voice was shaky when he said, "Hannah, we had no idea about the magnitude of this promotion. Why didn't you tell us?" I replied calmly, "You were so focused on managing Jessica's feelings that you never asked about mine. You assumed I was just a regular nurse who needed to learn about family priorities. You never considered that I might have professional achievements worth celebrating." The extended family reaction was swift and decisive. Aunt Patricia called to apologize for not speaking up at the rehearsal, saying she was ashamed of how they'd treated me during what should have been a celebration of both my wedding and my career achievement. Uncle James said he couldn't understand how they'd failed to recognize the significance of my work and asked if there was anything he could do to make amends. Jessica's friends on social media began resharing the articles about my promotion, with comments like, "So proud to know Hannah," and "What an incredible achievement." Jessica's own posts during this time looked increasingly petty and self-focused, in contrast to the genuine professional accomplishment being celebrated by everyone else. The hospital's CEO, Dr. Richard Hayes, invited me to speak at the monthly board meeting about my new program, where he introduced me as one of our most innovative young leaders who exemplifies the future of pediatric medicine. The board members, several of whom were prominent community leaders, expressed enthusiasm about the national recognition this brought to our regional healthcare system. 3 weeks later, I received an invitation to present my pediatric family integration model at the National Conference of Children's Hospital Administrators in Chicago. The speaking fee was $7,500 plus travel expenses, and the presentation would be published in the conference proceedings, distributed to over 2,000 healthcare administrators nationwide. Jessica finally reached out through a text message. "Congratulations on your promotion. I guess we didn't realize how big of a deal your job was," I responded. My job was always a big deal to the families whose children I help care for. The difference now is that more people outside our family are recognizing the work I've been doing for years. My parents requested a family dinner to clear the air, but I declined. Instead, I sent them copies of the published articles about my promotion, along with a letter explaining that their treatment of me during the wedding had revealed their true priorities. I wrote, "You chose Jessica's jealousy over supporting your daughter's professional achievements and personal milestone. That showed me exactly how much my success and happiness matter to this family." The professional consequences continued accelerating. I was invited to join the editorial board of Pediatric Care Innovation Quarterly, a prestigious medical journal that published cutting-edge research in children's healthcare. The position came with additional speaking opportunities and consulting fees that would add approximately $15,000 annually to my income. A headhunter from Boston Children's Hospital contacted me about a department head position that would double my salary and include relocation assistance, research funding, and a team of 12 nurses to implement my pediatric family integration program on a larger scale. While I wasn't ready to relocate, the conversation confirmed that my professional reputation now extended to elite medical institutions nationally. Jessica's situation deteriorated as her social media metrics declined, and several brand partnerships ended when companies realized her engagement rates were lower than promised. Her lifestyle content looked increasingly hollow compared to the meaningful professional achievements being celebrated by her sister. 3 of her sponsors dropped their contracts within 2 months. My parents' social standing in the community shifted as neighbors and church members learned about my professional success and began questioning how they'd treated me during the wedding situation. Mrs. Patterson, who attended our church, told my mother, "I can't understand how you could have been so focused on Jessica's feelings that you missed celebrating Hannah's incredible achievement." Colonel Rivera and I developed a strong relationship, with him often saying I was the daughter he'd always wanted. When I received the invitation to speak in Chicago, he and Elena insisted on attending to support me. "We want to see our daughter receive the recognition she deserves," he said, something my biological father had never thought to do. 6 months after the wedding, my net worth had increased to $420,000 due to the salary increase, signing bonus, and additional speaking fees. I purchased a larger home in a prestigious neighborhood, while Jessica moved back in with our parents after struggling to maintain her apartment on her declining social media income. The final vindication came when I was featured in Healthcare Leadership Magazine's 30 Under 30 list, recognizing the most promising young healthcare administrators in the country. The article highlighted my innovative approach to pediatric care and my rapid career advancement, describing me as a visionary leader who is reshaping how hospitals support families during medical crises. Jessica's last attempt at relevance was posting a photo of the magazine article with the caption, "So proud of my sister," but the comments section filled with people pointing out that she'd never mentioned my career before and asking why she was claiming credit for supporting me now. Her own followers began questioning her authenticity. My parents eventually sent a formal apology letter acknowledging that their treatment during the wedding was inappropriate and asking if we could rebuild our relationship. I responded that I was open to a relationship based on mutual respect, but that my professional success and personal happiness would never again be sacrificed for Jessica's emotional management. Today, I lead a team of 15 healthcare professionals implementing pediatric family integration programs at hospitals in 4 states. My annual income has reached $165,000, not including speaking fees and consulting work that add another $20,000. I've published 12 peer-reviewed articles and been invited to present at medical conferences internationally. Jessica works part-time at a clothing retail store, earns approximately $25,000 annually, and still lives with our parents. Her social media presence never recovered from the authenticity questions, and she struggled to build meaningful professional relationships or career opportunities. My parents have learned to celebrate my achievements appropriately and no longer expect me to minimize my success for Jessica's comfort. They attend my speaking engagements when possible and proudly share news of my professional accomplishments with their friends and neighbors. The experience taught me that strategic patience and professional excellence provide far more powerful responses to family manipulation than emotional confrontations. By allowing them to reveal their true character while quietly building my career and reputation, I created a situation where their poor treatment of me became indefensible once my actual achievements became public knowledge.